Yes. So thank you for joining in. This is technically day two of the International Coaching Week, but for us, it's day three. This is my seventh session out of the 26 that we have planned so far. So this is going to be a crazy week, and this is a topic of enough craziness because the ICE or the international or the ICF coaching exam or the credentialing exam that we are looking at it is as dangerous as the ICE of the USA, as in like the one who are, who are these, what agents do they call them? The one who help immigration spaces where they'll deport you back to your country. So the kind of heat that ICE has is there from both sides, both from the America side, both from the exam side. And for me, what makes me a person of interest to share this is the first time I took my ACC, which was way back in 2023, right? So I took the tougher of the exams, wherein the best answer and the worst answer had to be figured out at the same point. So right now, the ACC is a far more easier segment in terms of not really always having to deliver on the aspect of uh, the best as well as the worst answer. ACC right now has a reduced timeline, lesser number of questions, and also possibly the aspect of figuring it out in terms of what needs to be done. Right. So, yes, hi, Hetal. Good morning. Good to see you. So,
Good morning.
yes. Good morning. So, again, Tirumani, if did I get it right? Tirumani Nathan. Yes, welcome to both of you. So now you will actually prompt me to go back to what is the only slide that I've been having across the entire ICW because some of you do not know who I am. So that's the reason why I get to do this. But otherwise, we were just talking about the ICE. ICE, as and when we see it, comes with that space of it's as dangerous as the American ice, which is the one that helps people or deports people. So the kind of fear there is around the exam is similar to what is there around the whole aspect of somebody who will deport you back to your home country. Right. So, but typically, if I had to answer how easy it was, I'd say this was easy. Both sides. Why I have to share that is I took my ACC way back in 2022, sorry, 23, wherein it was May at that time. So it was still the worst answer and the best answer, even for the ACC exam that I took in May. I passed with flying colors with that one. I think when you get 460, everything else is irrespective of that. You just get your 460 and you're done with it. I got 465 or 468 or something, and I didn't care. I had passed my ACC. And then within the next 6 months, I wrote my PCC to the same exam, similar questions. Again, first time attempt, first time pass. And I was a local celebrity in the coaching segments because there were friends, there are still friends who have taken the exam and not passed it twice. Right? They keep telling me the scores keep getting better. They laugh about it, but then I know that behind the laugh there is a lot of disappointment. There's a lot more to that than that. For me, if you really look at this conversation today, one of the things I made very clear is that this is a mental preparation for the ICE. Right? Your ICE or your core competencies are the same for ACC, PCC as well as an MCC. It is just necessarily the depth at which the core competencies are looked at is what makes the whole difference. And the depth is what is getting tested in an environment where it is a space of looking at it. So there are three tests. One is your skill test. The skill test is already done by your the recording that you share to the either directly to the ICF or to your coach training institute, and via that they will give you an assessment and they will say, okay, yes, you passed. These are markers, the PCC markers are utilized to say, okay, how much percentage of markers do you hit? You hit 40%, 60%, 80%. Are you good at that? Do you do coaching? Do you do mentoring? So typically your skill is already tested in the audio segment. The skill is built over time during your 100 hours, 500 hours, 2500 hours. And essentially all your learning has been, is used whenever you're in the session and your core competencies are already being utilized. And after you've done your training, your 100 hours of whatever number of hours, then you've done your mentoring, then you get to your credentialing process. You send the recording is cleared, and then you do your exam. That means when you are entering the exam, you are not entering like somebody who's had no experience with coaching. You already have the experience and you are already confident about your abilities as a coach. Now, the other two tests are the test in the exam or the exam itself. And the more important test is the other mental slash emotional test that helps you prepare for the exam. The exam is as easy as it gets. If you're in India, it is the easiest you will ever encounter because you get 1 hour additional time. Time is not of matter at all. So you have part A and part B. Depending on your ACC and PCC and MCC, the number of questions sort of figure out. And ICF is still trying to refine it to make sure that not many coaches, fail the exam. And from what I took the exam, ICF is not designed it to fail the exam. Like they don't want you to fail. Like, they want you to pass. Like, they make sure that you get that. So if you look at PCC, you get 81 questions. 40 on one side, 41 on the other side. You get 4 hours. Now I think the break time is increased to 10 minutes. Before it was 5 minutes. And the timeline for you to just relax, get there is pretty easy. The mental preparation that I say is like when you get into the exam, the aspect is how confident are you about the exam is a space of great importance. Because the more you are giving that space to being confident, the exam looks easier. And I'm assuming all four of you here have some level of Indian roots in there. So if you have Indian roots, you've grown up with exams, right? You've done exams right, left, center. There is no two questions about the amount of exams that we've done. I am assuming none of the exams you failed. If you have, then you also taken the next exam, passed it, figured it out, and got through life. The ICE or the credential exam is like write it down in bold big letters, put it there as a printout. It does not check your worthiness as a coach. Oh, I am unworthy because I didn't pass the exam. It's as simple as for you to get to 12th standard, you have to write the 10th standard exam. It's as simple as that. You've done all the hard work, you've done all the training, you've all figured out what to do, what not to do. And then you have to just get there, do the exam, figure it out. So you get a chance to do it in the Pearson View Center, or you also get a chance to do it at home. I have done it both times at the Pearson View Center. For me, it worked great because I don't have to worry about it. I had a good lunch. I had my only challenge was not to sleep in the ICU, right? Not to sleep in the exam. And I went there after my both exams were at 2:30. Like my first exam was at 2:30, so I woke up at around 8:39. Did a full-fledged movie of 1 hour, 2 hours. That I watched a movie of 2 hours. At around 12 o'clock, I had lunch, and by around 1:50, I left home. 10 minutes of walk to the place, and I was there at 2 o'clock. They pulled me in at 2:30, and by 4, I was out. 1.5 hours, I had out finished the exam. And when I moved from point A to point B or part A to part B, my only confusion was, oh, they have given 2 hours. What if I finish this in 45 minutes? And I did. So my only concern was, will the exam end after part A because they've done a faster segment? It didn't end, so it's went to part B, right? So do not worry about the exam. You will pass the exam. And again, I can't say guarantees segment to it, but you've done your hard work with your 100 hours. You know your core competencies. You know your space. So and in terms of preparation, ICF itself in the website gives you just about 8 questions. Right? And if you look at those 8 questions, you'll have a general understanding of how it will look. And almost, I'm not sure of the newer ones in the simulator exam, but the way the exam is slightly different. So you have a big screen, you have a very long question. It's not as simple and as easy as what you look at here. It's a very long question. In the Pearson View Center, you actually get a space to write down. So you get a sheet to write down. So you can note down some of those things that you have. That's the different and that's the advantage of a Pearson View Center. So you actually get down to actually physically write on a OMR sheet, which you can rub a little later, right? So that's an advantage that I felt is there. Plus, you don't have to worry about the internet. The internet is always switched on. Anything that crashes on their side, they are responsible for the retest. It's clearer that way, and you don't have a proctor. I have had people tell me about experiences where you've got a very racist proctor. They have a very crazy proctor on the other side who's looking at your this thing. You will have to turn all your laptop and say nothing is here, nobody's coming in the room. You can't put your eyes this side, saying you can't sit and think about it. So I've had some very not so crazy, not so good outputs in terms of people who have come to as a proctor there. So with the exam space, it's more easier. Just get there. So like I was saying, the physical or the skill set test, you pass that. The physical preparation or the a preparation, you have your core competencies. That's more than enough. You read the whole core competencies, discuss with another coach, possibly somebody who has deeper experience in coaching, what the core competencies are. Currently, I don't know, Hetal and Taramani, correct? Did I get you right? Tiromani, correct. So I am assuming both of you are not part of the tribe of coaches. We do sessions every Monday, and the first Monday of the month, except for this month, we discuss the core competencies. So you can come along. There are YouTube recorded conversations that we do. You can have a look at it. What is the depth at which we will ask, we will sit with the core competencies. Then the application of the core competencies and application of the ethics is far more important than anything else. So your IC is a lot more in terms of ethics, gray areas, how do you work? And I will come to the concentration of the exam in the next spaces. But this is generally, the skill set wise or the test wise, you know how it is happening. Get your core competencies right. There are YouTube links that ICF themselves have released on their YouTube talking about core competencies, slight nuances of the core competencies in terms of where it is. And always your uh, core values of ICF, transparency, being a coach, XYZ will always come first, then core competencies, and then a little bit of the um, skill in the core competencies will come up. So the best segment is always looked at from a top view segment, and worst also if it clearly is a violation of a core value of ICF itself or core value of coaching itself, that will directly be a worst answer. And in terms of the other preparations, I think there is a lot more right now. uh, it's the exam passing itself has become heavily commercialized. There are too many mock papers, there are too many spaces that are there, and not everything gives you the actual segment. So you have the entire screen, you have a question, you have 4 options, you can drag and drop the options, right? So there is a best answer option and there is a worst answer option. I am going from a PCC segment. So you drag the best option, you drag the worst option. So if there are 4 options, if you drag one of them, you have now 3 more options left to choose from. And why I make this distinction, why I make this more aware for you is is based on the strategy of how to pass the exam, right? So, what I'm sharing is nothing to do with me knowing how the questions will come. The questions are irrelevant at this point of time because you are going there confident, saying yes, I will be able to figure out the exam. That confidence also comes from your confidence as a coach because how well you've tested yourself in the segment of your 100 hours that allows you to say, yes, you know what, I think this is going to be a cakewalk. But it will test you. But it is not something that's a make or break. Go to the exam in a positive mindset. Go to the exam having not hungry. Go to the exam, in a space where you are telling yourself that this is an exam that you can ace. Again, it's not a same of overconfidence or underconfidence. It's just a space of confidence. So right now, the other thing I think there's this lady, I forgot her name, very famous, Lisa D Hart. Lisa D Hart has videos. There are other people who have also put out videos how to do your core competencies, what to look for. But I think it's very easy in terms of just figuring out the layout of the land. Uh, the moment you apply to the IC, you get 30 days of time or 60 days of time, if I'm assuming right, that within which you have to complete the exam. So everything is sent to the ICF, ICF comes back, and then you have another 60 days to finish it. Don't push too hard. Maybe as soon as ICF comes back, again, this is my suggestion. Within 15 days, figure it out. 15 days is way more than enough to do it. I used to sleep with the YouTube videos playing in the background, not really being bothered too much about it, trying to catch some of these smaller nuances that I may have missed. I made my own notes of what the core competencies are. You don't have to remember all the core competencies, not the title, not the 8 points, 5 points, 6 points, whatever is there in that. They will not ask you what is 8.5, what is 3.2, what is 1.1, nothing like that. And your CC3 to CC8 is already hardly, strongly tested in the audio exam already. So a lot of the focus is on CC1 and CC2, which is the ethical competencies as well as the coaching mindset, alongside with the rest of them. But then the main focus is on that. And you already built a mindset over a period of 100 hours, 500 hours, 2500 hours. You already built that space of ethics, but it is a space of what is the gray areas. So what happens if you fall in love with a client? What happens if your client falls in love with you, right? Uh, Ideally, there are segments that is said, you have to keep your romantic relationship separate as part of the core competencies. You, as much as it is preferred, you don't coach your family because that safety is not strongly set. And then what happens if the client has tendencies towards committing harm to others? Your client confidentiality is not bound to that if you are called upon in a yeah, as a witness in a crime scene or something like that. So you will have to share that space if you are called upon there. So explanation on the understanding of when confidentiality is to be breached and when not to. So that's the question. There will be a lot of questions on a tri-party segment because your internal coach segment is also tested. So that is where some of the coaches also find it a challenge saying, hey, how does it really happen in corporate? I have no idea. So again, you'll have to rely on what you see as common sense. If you build on the common sense, get to the exam, nothing like it. So again, skill set preparation is already done. Your, say, the bandwidth of preparation is already done in terms of what you have studied. And now the part of the exam, you've done all that is required before the exam. And in the exam, it's a real test in terms of how in the present moment you are. As soon as you hit question number one, uh, don't worry about the next 40 that is coming or the next 80 that is coming. Sit with question number one. There's always time. Read the question. Check what competencies are being checked in this one. whether it is an ethical dialogue, whether it is a conversational dialogue, whether it is a core competency dialogue, check what is happening. And then the most easier part of this is play with mathematics. I make this a very strong distinction is play with mathematics. You have to get 75% of your answers right. That means in every four questions, you can get one wrong and still pass. So the attitude is not that in every questions I need to get three right. And you can get one wrong. You're giving yourself permission saying, ha, chalega. Right? So this is how it is. So 460 is what you need to pass. Remember, there are 81 questions. Again, PCC, ACC, I don't exactly remember if it's 61 or exactly number. So these are, there's a different number in terms of ACC to PCC. ACC, right now, you only have to choose the best option. A PCC, you have to choose the best as well as the worst option among the four. And if you look at it, I will talk about the PCC and then the ACC. In the four options, the best and the worst already coexist, and they're default in there. You don't have to search for them. That's the answer. So you don't, as soon as you look at the question, don't think about what you would answer as the right one. Go look at the four options because there's a lot of time because when you process it in your head, you're trying to process it in your head and go back to the four options and say, oh, I think this is the best option. This is the worst option. Do not process the question. Look at the question as data, no processing. Then go back to the four options. Mathematics, like I said. You can get four options wrong. Sorry, three options right, one option wrong. The other one is that in the four lies the answer already. You don't have to go anywhere else. Right? That's mentally load off. You have to go only look at the four options. Now, typically, out of which you have two scenarios of multiple scenarios. One in which three qualify along the better answer segment. One is clearly worst option. So your already worst option is already cleared. So one answer out of that is already done. You have 162 options to figure out. 81 into 2, 162 options. If you get all of it right, you get 600. Even if you get all of it wrong, you still get 200. So even if you do all your 81 questions wrong, you still get 200 marks. 460 is your passing. So you automatically switched off that pressure saying, ah, chalega, 200 to already hai. You're batting at 200. All you have to do is get the next 250. That's the thought process when you get there. You still start at zero, but then typically, even if you get all wrong, you're going at 200. And assuming that you've strongly prepared well in advance, it's not going to be that difficult a conversation to have in your head. Because the mindset at which you go to the exam defines how you sit there in the exam. The exam is going to, test you. It's not an easy exam, but it's not tough either. So that's the thought process. So sit with that space to not really push yourself too hard. Four options, like I was saying, three already you know that there are three best options, or three that can be considered best options. So your worst option is already known. You drag and drop. The other way around, three are worst options already, you know the best option. Again, drag and drop. And there is another space where you have 50-50. So that means either of those two cases, the probability of getting an answer as the best one and the worst one are you have two buckets. You have to choose one of them. It again helps you normalize it mathematically. And within the three options that you have possibly, or within the two options that you have possibly, look at what can feel more wrong in terms of the core competencies, not what feels wrong for you. Always keep core competencies as your rule of the thumb. Transparency, ethical standards, being able to strictly sit to core competencies is what they're looking at. It's a general mindset test because the skill set test has already been done in the audio. They really want to check on the mindset space as to how do you operate. So always operate with the rule of the law of the core competencies or ethics first, then core competencies, then this. So ethics, I think 29 ethical statements are there. Each one comes with an interpretive statement. They're all on the website. You don't have to go anywhere else. Core competency document is also on the website. Again, you don't have to go anywhere else. So your option is to play with the four options. Right? Does it make it any easier to look at your exam? I haven't done anything on the skill set because that's a whole new ball game in terms of your preparation towards what to read, what not to read, how to read, when to read. When to read 10 days. Start your preparation 10 days before. Not too early, not too late. And don't push everything down your head and throat and whatever. Right. So just chill. This is going to be, if you're an Indian, this is just going to be another exam that you're going to be writing. But don't take it lightly as well. So none of the exams you've taken lightly, but then you already prepared, you get there, you sit there, you finish. Right? You will have time. So you will also have time to skip the questions. You will also have time to come back to them at a later point of time and write that. So that's part A and to part B. Once you finish part A, you can't go back to part A. So you will have to stay with part B. So be a little careful with that. Time, you have ample time. Read the question properly. And reading the question properly is a significant analogy to the core competencies in terms of listening to the client. You listen to what is being said in that statement. What is also being unsaid in that statement. For example, one of the questions I had is, you are coaching your friend's wife. In the session, she drops a statement that I am going to divorce my husband. Yeah, and that's how the conversation is going to be here. So I saw your questions, and then I was like, yes, they're going to give you that space. So it's directly a gray zone introduction. Do you go back? Do you stay loyal to the client in terms of what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas and stays there continuously, or do you show your loyalty to your friend? So your personal opinion would be like, no, my friend comes first, and he's the sponsor. Now this gets complicated if he's the sponsor. He's the one who's paying for it. Now how do you work with that? So there are four options that will get. Tell your client that don't divorce this fellow. This automatically sits in the worst option bucket. You've not yet made it a worst option. The other options could be even worse. Like calling your friend right away and saying your wife is going to divorce you is going to be far more dangerous than this one. Right? So you'll have to see, okay, this falls in the two buckets. And then you have to say, oh, which one is the better bucket here? That goes into the worst one, which one is going to the best one. So these two options definitely don't stay in the best. The other option is take a deep breath, come back to the present and say what's happening with the client. Ask the client what's happening. And take a deep breath and ask the question why they want to do it. So again, best option segment, because you said take a deep breath. It's not falling into the worst segment category yet. So in that you choose what works for you. So clearly, as soon as you see the question, you are like, oh, this is not a core competency segment. It's an ethical dialogue segment. So switch on the ethics. And then at 29, once you get to that, you're easy to figure out. Generally, stay true, set the same money wise, it's the same value that you're able to provide to the client, whether you do it for free or whether you do pro bono, low bono, transparency at its best. And the aspect of self improvement being a part of the equation. If you are having trouble in terms of figuring out what's happening, go to a mentor, go to a trainer, go to a coach, go to a supervisor. Always be on the aspect of that. If there are multiple options, ask the client to choose. The client always chooses what they want to establish in the session. Even if there is a change in contract, align to the change in contract, recontract. So all of these are basic segments that have come by. So if at any point you feel drawn to the exam and you're feeling a little bit of a jitteriness, before the exam, give me a call. I'll make sure you laugh enough about it that you'll go to the exam tomorrow and, yes. So I think 12 of them have cleared the exam, not because of my conversation, but then it helped them to know that, yes, they're on the right path. So I think 12, 13 of them have cleared so far in just the space of 3 years after having not been successful in the first attempt. So the others who cleared in the first attempt, they are a different space altogether. So it helps to sit with a coach and yes, sit with a friend and discuss the core competencies, somebody who's done it before. So this also helps. Now again, all of these are mental frameworks. The other mental framework, which I keep on repeating, put it in bold and italics and paste somewhere else, is your worth as a client or a coach is not decided by how well you do in the exam. I had one friend who couldn't clear it 3 times. A number of phone calls of her crying in the call with me saying, Sunil, I don't think I'm able to do it. One is the amount of money that went into that, the amount of frustration that went into that. She went with the first one. She said, "Oh, I think I'm going to do it." The second one, she went to Lisa. That did all that. Third didn't crash. The third one, she took one-to-one classes, didn't crash, didn't pass. The fourth one, she was able to do it in 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 a way that she does not know how to explain it. Don't try and explain it to yourself as to what to do in the exam. Just go sit there, finish it, come back. Prepare well in advance, get there. And another thing, 81 questions. When you are at question number four, don't think about question number one. Oh, did I put the right answer? Did I put this thing? So that will test you to be in the present. So if your coaching game is set, that you know how to be in the present, you don't switch off from question four, go to question one. You don't switch on to say, what will the next question come? My first exam, the ACC that I wrote in May, the first 6 questions I think I skipped because it hit me like a train saying, hey, what do I do? The seventh one, I got it like, oh, I know what this is all about. Went back to the 6 questions, flowed beautifully through that, came back. And I still don't know if I passed because at the end of the part A, I realigned I one or two that were doubtful. I realigned some of these answers. Part B, I realized that those answers, did I get less marks because of that? Did I get more marks and get passed? I don't know. All I got is 460 and I didn't care about the exam afterwards. Right. So just get with that space and just do this. One of the things that I saw from an interview is you be like a politician's handshake. Right. After the politician has shook your hand, he does not come back to you after that. So each politician's handshake is a 5, 6 second handshake. Hi, hello, hi, my name's Sunil, blah, blah, blah. Eye contact, handshake, nice to meet you, go ahead. So this is how you have to meet your coach. This is how you have to meet the 81 questions or the 65 questions or whatever number of questions that you get. The moment you've gone out of that question, your concentration is on the next question only. And only if you have to do a repeat or there are some that you've flagged, that's when you come back and say, yes, you flagged it. So let me check if this is still right. And there is ample time for you. No two questions about it. Do not come out of the session because you felt part A was difficult. Some of us find part A difficult, some of us find part B difficult, and do not lose heart in the exam because even if you get all of them wrong, you still get 200. So I had one who attempted 50 questions, 60 questions, and said it's too tough, closed the exam, went back home. And her regret in that is if I'd sat down for the exam, completed it, I'd have finished it. Again, self-doubt is not required to be present there in that segment. So that's all, uh, the mental preparation segment that allows you to be there as a coach. And yeah, in terms of resources, ICF already has all the resources for you to work with. Core competencies on the website, ethical aspects on the website, protest statements, YouTube videos, and there are a few mock. One is Solutions Academy, one is Ignite. So these two had good ones when I was there. So when I was trying to get ready for the exam. But otherwise, this is how it is. So the questions, I think now they've changed. When I wrote it, the nuance for an ACC, nuance for a PCC was slightly under question mark. So that's how you mentally prepare for the exam. And yeah, like I keep on repeating, eat something and go. Don't go hungry to the session. And again, your worth as a coach is not decided by whether you do this or not. With that, I end today's monologue session for the day, and I'm open to questions. Yeah.
This is very helpful, Sunil. Thank you for taking us through this. Uh, again, what kind of, you know, I know that Coach Arya has like a prep exam. Any other, places where we can try a prep exam to kind of just understand, what kind of questions would come?
Ignite has one. Ignite 360 has one. Solutions
Okay.
Academy has another. Navgati, I think, had one more. I think now every coach training institute has a default this thing. It see again the mark is just for you to be confident to say I think I know how the format looks like. So uh, they do not 100% simulate the intensity of what comes there. So it's just so that you get there confidently to say yes. So that's about it. It's like your typical Indian exam. So you go there, prepare for it, you sit there. Once you sit there, you forget about the rest of the world. You just look at the question, answer it, look at the question, answer it, and then you finish and come back. Whatever happens in that exam, you're not responsible for that. You've done all the hard work. This is, Bhagavad Gita-ish conversation. All that you had to do has already been done. So,
So
hmm,
Sunil, Srivatsa here.
yes,
So
Srivastava.
as and when you finish the last question,
Mm-hmm.
and you will get the result there that out of 460 you have say 470 or 300 you will get there, or you will get it after some time. When is the
You
result
will,
like?
yeah. So, say for example, you finish the exam, so you do it on a computer. So you're doing it on a Pearson view or on
Pearson
somewhere
view,
else. Within
Pearson.
2 or 3 minutes, you will be able to get this. So that you exit the system, that person comes along, closes the system, closes the exam, and then you go outside. He gets a printout and he says, "Yes, sorry, you passed." So the most tensed part of the exam is the 2 minute transition from closing the exam to the place where the person gives you the printout. Or if you're doing it at home, another 2-3 minutes will give you the response. How much did you score? Whether it's a pass or fail.
So within 3 minutes, if you are doing in Pearson view,
Yes,
you will
yes,
get the result.
yes, yes, yes. You will get a printout from that. ICF, I think, takes 2 or 3 days to get you the what is that? The certificate from Credly or that you can then host onto the platform. But now it should be faster. When I did it, it was a little later. It should be faster. So your result comes then and there. So 3 minutes is not too difficult. It comes then and there. Any other questions? I'd be happy to answer. Yeah. And I think Udemy also has one. I have not checked uh, the Udemy one, so I may not be able to recommend it. But right now, it has become a monetary possibility for multiple coach training or multiple spaces to say, "Oh, we offer you how to pass the exam." So make sure you have the right recommendations when you go to somebody, or look at this thing. Any other thing. Okay, Mary, can you? Okay. Can you do PLC without doing ACC? What happens if you fail? Mary, I'm not sure I understand what you are asking, except that the exam is not an open book exam right now. Mentorship, it depends. Who is your mentor? If you're doing it on the portfolio path, different mentors offer different spaces. I also offer mentoring, so depending on whether we're doing group mentoring, whether we're doing individual mentoring, whether you're doing it for ACC or PCC, the charges would vary. Um, And right now it's called the ICE. Previously it was called the CKA, which is the coach credentialing exam. CKA was open book. CKA had, I think, at that point of time, 240 questions or something, if I remember right. And it was an open book question. And there was only one, like choose the best option segment. So choose the right answer, not the best option. So here I've given you options, and if you look at it from the same segment, ACC, you have to choose the best option from four. That means in each question you can only get you have a 25% chance of getting it right. Whereas in the worst and best option, each question you get 50% possibility of getting 2 marks. So yeah, that's that from my end. Any other things that you would like to ask? Feel free. Otherwise, yeah, we will do a little bit of screen sharing because for some of you who are here, who have not had the introduction, let's not do Pankti Beda and do this. So uh, this is me on LinkedIn. This is the QR code for you to catch up with me. The segment where this is available is the other one. This QR code is for the group that we run. We are about 320 plus now, who are basically building a community for coaches, of coaches, with coaches. And we do peer coaching possibilities, then conversations like this, sessions like this. And shamelessly asking for a testimonial. If you found this of any value, you can write it on LinkedIn, post on WhatsApp, share it with your friends. And this is my number to connect. I currently hold a PCC. I finished my PCC hours in about a year. I finished the overall ACC and the PCC in about 15 months. And now I am on track, hopefully on track for MCC hours, and mentally switched on towards completing my MCC in the next 6 to 8 months. Um, Another 1,200-ish hours to complete. So I'm getting mentored to get through to that. So yeah, I am an accidental coach, but I've realized that I'm a good coach. That's about that if I have to define myself. Today we have two more sessions. One is a live mentoring session. That's about 4 o'clock in Indian time. And there is a live coaching session that's 7 o'clock India time. We are still looking for clients who are open to get coached live. If you're open to it, we'll record it and share it with others who are in the group itself. Or else we will not record it, but whoever is joined live will be able to access it. The same goes with the mentoring segment. You can come get mentored live based on whether you're at ACC or PCC. That's okay. If you're at MCC, then I'm not yet officially there to mentor you. But then this will be a space where you can get live mentored, and others can also join and observe, so that you can also learn from collective wisdom. So that's what happens today, and tomorrow also it's the same thing. We have a very light session in the morning, and we have one mentoring and one coaching, and then one mentoring. So today 7 o'clock coaching, tomorrow 7 o'clock mentoring, uh, and the things get swapped at 4 o'clock. So basically that's the day. And
Um,
yeah, I think if you've not connected with me on WhatsApp, I think Govind will share the link on WhatsApp so you can just jump in. With that, I pause to check if there are questions.
Yeah, Sunil, one
Yes, Shubham.
thing I think you told, when you're reading the question, assume that a client is speaking to you, and then as
Mm-hmm.
soon as you read the question, see what competency or what ethics is applicable, and accordingly decide the answer and put it. So that did I hear the same thing? Did you?
So with respect to deciding, don't decide the answer. So
Hmm,
it's loaded for you to say, okay, these are metrics that are at play. Then
hmm,
go back to the four options and win the four options, bucket the options into say best option, worst option category, then
hmm.
filter it through the core competency segment and then put it up. So that will
Oh,
be the easiest way. This is what worked for me. What could work for you could be completely different. But then this makes it mathematically easier to say, yes, I think this is easier to work with. This becomes logically easier to work with the question. And The other thing is your emotions as an individual or as a coach are not to be brought into while answering the question. Because as soon as I gave the example,
Okay.
Hetal's facial expression was of shock, saying, "Oh, how can this happen?" Right? So, just look at it from the space of it being just a test,
Okay.
and that solves 99% of the problems.
Okay.
For
Thanks.
AC,
All
hi,
right.
this is
Yes, Rupal, please go ahead.
um so for ACC purposes, what is the ideal preparation time? Like as you said, don't start too early, don't start too late. And
ACC,
ideally, yeah.
yeah. 1 week to 10 days, Rupal. I think don't push beyond that. So even in that, like, see, even if you give yourself 10 days, even if you're sitting with core competencies, say two core competencies a day, it's four core competencies, so 4 days. Another 2 days for, say, the ethics, and then 1 or 2 days for revision, and 1 or 2 days for mock test. So close. Even with that, your 10 days is already fact.
Okay.
And I did it when I did it for the first time about 1 week, but then I had like multiple revision segments. Like I said, I was sleeping with the YouTube videos on, just chilling for an hour with the Bluetooth speaker running the core competency videos in a clean segment. So that was what it was. It was just like full focus based on that. But also don't overdo it, because you don't anticipate the question or say, "Oh, what do I do if the scenario comes?" Don't do that, because it's a real possibility of anticipating the scenario. And again, look at the mock exam as just to build the confidence in terms of how does it look when you actually sit with the exam. The mock is not 100% clarity of how it actually is.
So mock, as you said, that the three, the Solution Academy, Ignite, and Navgati, so they provide the mock papers.
They do provide the mock papers. I think Kochari also has one. And if you go Google search, you will figure out, like, you will get every coach training institute will put one.
Okay.
In-
Okay.
For them, one of the simplest ways for them to, for you to know that they exist is to put something out like this.
Mm.
It's also a mechanism to hook you into from ACC to PCC or some other coach training segment that they're saying. So that,
Mm.
oh, this particular company exists as much as they're also trying to add help to the coaches.
Mm. But the main is on ethics and the core competence
Yes, yes, yes,
for
yes,
ACC.
yes.
That's the
Absolutely.
only
And for
basis.
all your ACC, PCC, and MCC, same core competencies, same ethics. It just sits with how nuanced are your observations there. That's about it.
Okay. Thanks.
Most welcome. Hmm. Yeah, so I thought I had very little to share, but turns out I've had 52 minutes of this thing.
Thank you
Oh,
so much.
can AI help with preparation and mock papers? AI can do more damage than anything. So, thanks. Fantastic question, Mary. I think I love that question. I've had coaches come to me with, like I said, this last minute 12 or 13 people that have come by who finished their exam, saying, Sunil, I asked ChatGPT, or, whatever, segment Claude, blah, 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 uh, saying, oh, they gave me this set of questions. No. The set of questions from the ICF is a very closely guarded secret. What happens with that, how these are. So with the 8 segments that even if they pulls out from the ICF website itself, is too less of a space to say what are 500, 600 questions that ICF will come back with in their database to give you that 81 questions there. So don't use AI. AI can confuse you with its own interpretations. You are confused, and oh, trust yourself. Oh, maybe I think that's another bold statement. Trust yourself when you get the exam. You've done all the hard work, preparations, XYZ to get to that. Any other questions that I haven't chat
Yes,
with?
Sunil. Thank you.
Yes. Otherwise, we close. Thank you. Then have a nice day. See you in the other sessions if it's possible for you to jump in. See you then. Take care. Yeah.